The Army Painter is my favorite hobby company in the entire world. My desk is literally full of Army Painter products, and it takes me from being an average painter to putting above tabletop standard models out into the tournament scene. Not only that, but the Army Painter has sponsored more competitive play than any other hobby company in the industry. They allow us to keep doing the things that we do. If you enjoy the Army Painter as much as I do, head over to thearmypainter.com where you can use the discount code ARTOFWAR5 to get a discount on your next order.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting Art of War video. Today we have been graced by a gift from Games Workshop, a new supply drop with an Astra Militarum Detachment.
Astra Militarum have been at the absolute peak of the meta for a while, and this bad boy he's looking strong too.
Absolutely. So Games Workshop has been releasing their detachments every day as part of their Grotmas calendar, and today is the day for the Astra Militarum. So in this video, we're going to be reviewing the new Bridgehead Strike detachment that just came out on Warhammer Community and talk about what it means for the Astra Militarum.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to dive into this. Even though I don't play Guard myself, I have always been on the outskirts of potentially playing Guard.
You know what? You see Guard the way I see Admech, just like casually interested and respectful. Absolutely. So if you are really excited about this new detachment, of course, we're going to be doing a lot of content with all the new Grotmas content and that new balanced data slate. And of course, we are going to be covering this every single time a detachment comes out. So every day there's a new detachment. Every day we put a video on this channel. It's pretty simple. If you want to get notified, if you want to watch the rest of these videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That is the best thing you could do for yourself and to help us grow the channel. Of course, we also appreciate it if you like the video, leave a comment, let us know what you think about this detachment, and maybe you could even share it with your friends.
Don't worry, there's plenty more. If you want to check out more content from Guard, including some of John's latest list ideas for this new Bridgehead Strike detachment, as well as potential games coming very soon, come on over to The Worm at theworm.vhx.tv. In addition, right now there is a coupon code GROTMAS2024, all caps on that, and that's going to give you access to 50% off your first month. So come on over, try it out. This is the best time to join our community and access all the content related to every single faction in the game.
All right. I'm ready to talk about it now. Can we talk about it now?
Let's dive into this bad boy.
New detachment time! All right, we've certainly seen some good and some great detachments across the month, so we'll see how this one ends up.
We'll see where it fits.
We'll start off with the detachment rule for the Bridgehead Strike, and I already like this.
I love the name.
Only the best. That's what I'm bringing, only the best.
Finest soldiers.
And so the rule is, each time an Astra Militarum infantry model from your army makes a ranged attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. So that's just pretty good. And notably, Scions already have that as a rule. Luckily, there's still something to help out the Scions so they don't feel too left out here.
Definitely.
And that is Fire Zone Purge, the second half of the detachment rule. Each time a Militarum Tempestus model from your army makes a ranged attack in a turn which it was set up on the battlefield from reserves or it disembarked from a transport, add 1 to the wound roll.
So this does include the Tempestus tank, correct?
That is anything Militarum Tempestus. So I think a Tarok's Prime arriving from reserves would work. Obviously, the Prime isn't going to get out of a transport. It is a transport. But you could get some guys out of the transports. You could get the transport out of reserves. You could deep strike some guys in. Couple different ways to get +1 to wound there, and that's pretty potent. I think that's really going to add up.
I think so.
Up next is just a couple changes to the keywords. And this is that if you have a Militarum Tempestus officer as your warlord, which by definition means you don't have Leontis, then Tempestus Scion units from your army gain the battle line keyword and +1 OC while they are not battle shocked.
So that means that you can take up to 6 different Scion units?
6 Scion units.
Okay.
Plus Aquilons. And
Aquilons have the same keyword, Tempestus Scion, right?
They do.
Okay.
They do.
So we can really...
We can get a little silly with this. Now, luckily, Aquilons are not what they were a couple weeks ago. That would have been too much.
I think so.
Yeah, that would have been a little too crazy, but I think we're at the right level of crazy, don't you think?
Absolutely. And then +1 OC. There was a lot of OC stacking that you were doing in your previous list with the Tempestus, correct?
Yeah.
Because you can put a banner in the unit, and then now you can get an additional OC in this, plus there's an order.
Yes, you could get each Scion in a command squad with a banner up to OC4 if you really wanted to go through the hoops. OC4 on a single Scion is a little bit laughable. I doubt you're ever going to need to go that high,
Probably
but
not.
just being OC2, not needing the order, that's pretty good.
That's pretty damn good.
And every time you go to OC3, it's really should be enough there.
All right, heading into the enhancements here, we have the Bombast class Vox Array for 25 points. The Militarum Tempestus officer model has to hold it, and each time the bearer issues an order, if the bearer's unit contains one or more models equipped with a Master Vox, it can issue that order up to 3 different regiment units instead of 1. Holy God, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, just 3 orders instead of 1 for a officer in a command squad. And you have to have 1 guy in the command squad alive. Obviously, if you're buying this enhancement, you're going to buy the Vox.
100% you are.
So this is great. So this means that this is even better than the old Grand Strategist. For beyond just 3 is better than 2. Also because you can issue all 3 on the drop turn, whereas Grand Strategist was limited to the command phase. So you can drop this unit, issue 3 orders. And this is where having the command rod on the Scion squad suddenly makes sense. The command rod allows the unit to receive 2 orders instead of 1, but you dropped and you only issued 1 order, so it was a little shaky on whether or not that would actually ever come up. But with the Bombast class Vox Array, it makes a lot of sense to have a command rod.
I think this is going to be in every single one of these lists.
I agree. Next up, we have a second enhancement. The priority drop beacon is going to run you 30 points. We'll see if it's worth it. And this is for Militarum Tempestus officer model only. The bearer's unit can be set up using the deep strike ability and the reinforcement step of your first, second, or third movement phases, regardless of any mission rules. Turn 1 deep strikes on a big old Scion squad.
Turn 1 plays. That means so you might not use this. You might. But if you don't use it, you're at least threatening to do so, and so your opponent has to play different. And the armies that don't have infiltrate units, like on search and destroy table quarters, oh boy, they're going to have a whole pretzel of a time trying to get out of their deployment zone, frankly.
They really are. You're going to have to really be respectful of what a guard unit could do to you on turn 1. Because you don't want to catch that kind of shooting on the chin for no reason.
I certainly don't.
Come in, one of the lethal hits that you're used to having, but it'll have +1 to wound, so that's still pretty decent, right? It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously it'll have sustained hits by definition of there's an officer in the unit, so that's cool.
Strong.
All right, next enhancement.
Shroud Projector. This is 15 points, so pretty cheap. Militarum Tempestus officer model. Enemy units cannot use the Fire Overwatch stratagem to shoot at the bearer's unit. So
that's just nice.
It's nice.
It's just nice.
There are plenty of plays where you want to get in. Your opponent has like a Land Raider Redeemer or some sort of crazy Flamer unit where your Scions would take a lot of damage. And you're like, nah, I'm going to do the play that I want to.
Yeah, and you know what? It's 15 points. I think it's going to be difficult to justify 3 enhancements in these armies. But if you can find the points, there are several good options here. So I am not at all upset about this.
Yeah, it's just a good thing to potentially have. And certain metas is going to be a lot more valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a good choice. The final one is the Advanced Augury, another 15-pointer for an infantry officer only, notably not Tempestus Scion, just any infantry officer. After both players have deployed their armies, select up to 3 regiment units from your army and redeploy them. In doing so, you can put them in strategic reserves regardless of who's already there. This is nice if you happen to be trying to build a list that is going more than 1,000 points in reserve. Hats off, first of all. You could use this to manipulate that if you didn't want to take Leontis because of the Warlord bonus that you could get instead. So that's kind of cool. And then Regiment does include a couple cute things like Sentinels or Rough Riders. And that's just nice. Just good things to keep in mind.
All right, so then we have the stratagem suite here. So starting off the Bellicosa drop, which is used in the reinforcement step of your movement phase. 1 Astra Militarum infantry unit from your army that is in reserves and has the deep strike ability. Till the end of the phase, when your unit is set up on the battlefield using the deep strike ability, can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 6 inches horizontally away from enemy units. Till the end of the turn, your unit is not eligible to charge, so this is the new version of 3-inch deep strike. It is 6-inch deep strike, and with that, oh god, the big Scion brick is 6.1 away from me.
That is going to hurt more than it used to.
Especially with the additional rapid fire, right? Yep. It's so easy to get in rapid fire.
Yeah, getting a rapid fire wasn't like a huge deal before, but it's occasionally annoying. Now it's just like, oh yeah, we're in rapid fire range, the melt is in range, everything's in range, and also screening me is that much harder.
This is strong.
This is going to carry some work. This is going to do good.
My god.
This is good. Up next is Firing Hot. I love to see this one. And this is in your shooting phase. You pick one Militarum Tempestus or Kazarkin unit. So a little Kazarkin thrown a bone here. And until the end of the phase, improve the strength and AP of all hot shot weapons. So this is hot shot las carbines, las guns, las pistols, marksman rifles, volley guns, sentry las guns, all of them, but strength and AP by 1.
That's huge.
I mean, this takes the las guns themselves to strength 4 AP 2. This takes the volley guns to strength 5 AP 2. This takes the sniper rifle to, I think, strength 6 AP 3.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the
good.
Taurox Prime rule is if you pop out, you get reroll wounds.
That is correct.
So you could...
Yeah, you get the Razorback thing. You could very easily get a nasty hot shot volley pain train coming out of a transport.
I don't want my volleys to be cold.
No, they will be hot.
I want them firing hot.
I not hazardous, just hot.
Just hot. Fire and relocate is the next stratagem, and it is used in your shooting phase. You pick one Astra Militarum unit, excluding Titanic, so this is very open to a lot of different units. Till the end of the phase, your unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it advanced, getting that assault keyword effectively.
You know, I love this stratagem, but the name bugs me. I feel like fire and relocate makes me think it's like a fire and fade, but it's not. But this is still a great stratagem. Let's be clear. The fact that this can be used on anything is super nice because so far we've got a ton of infantry support. Not unreasonable. I love the infantry here. But I really like that this is just throwing a little bit of a bone to the, the poor neglected tank commanders.
Yeah, the Demolisher tank commander loves this.
Yeah, just those poor tank commanders.
Because you give him plus 3-inch move, and then you're like, I can also advance here. It's just the threat range of it is dramatically increased.
Yes, yeah, it is massive. Absolutely massive. All right, up next is 1 CP Servo Designators. In your shooting phase, after an Astra Militarum infantry from your army has shot, you just pick something that you hit, and it loses the benefit of cover. Nice and easy, just clean and efficient.
Don't have to use a Hellhound.
You don't have to use a Hellhound. If you don't have a Hellhound, this is essentially the same thing as Fields of Fire, with just a little extra, it's only 1 CP instead of 2. You do have to pick something visible, so you cannot mortar over the top, and I think that's perfectly fair for balance. Perfectly fine. Screw indirected, we don't need it anymore. No more mortars in the backfield, I don't even need the 1. So very, very happy with this. 1 CP strip cover, and the fact that it can confirm any of these infantry, mint.
Then we have next up Aerial Extraction. So this is used end of your opponent's fight phase. So your opponent's fight phase, not your fight phase. 1 Valkyrie unit from your army that is not within engage range of 1 or more enemy units, or 1 Astra Militarum unit from your army that has the Deep Strike ability and is not within engage range of enemy units.
One of those two.
It's probably going to be the latter. I'm going to be honest with you.
Valkyrie.
Remove your unit from the battlefield and place it into stretch reserves. One of the big things how I played against Guard was, okay, you dropped your Scion Brick, and it's in this area of the table. And it did some damage over there, but now I can kind of play around it. You cannot do that.
That will not necessarily be an option. Big happy on this one. This not only is going to let you keep activating the army rule, otherwise the army rule kind of turns off as soon as you're on the table, but it also helps with the mobility issues that Guard can potentially have. And it means that you're not going to be punished nearly as badly if you go ahead and use your reserves and your deep strikes to clear a fringe threat.
Yep.
If you clear a fringe threat, you're not stuck on the fringe forever, and which could happen to Guard. And so big stratagem. It's not a surprise to see it in this kind of an attachment. It's very thematic, but it also is very important that it was included. Guard players love to see this one.
Absolutely.
Finally, we have what is possibly my favorite stratagem of the bunch here.
It's funny.
It's pretty good. On my position. All of these have been 1 CP, by the way. And this is at the end of your opponent's fight phase. So we're kind of specific here. You target 1 regiment infantry unit from your army that is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. This is at the end of their fight phase. Your opponent really does have control over whether or not this is happening. Then you just roll a d6 for each enemy unit that's within engagement range of your unit. And on a 2+, that enemy unit suffers d6 mortal wounds. Then your unit suffers 3d3 mortal wounds. Screw him, I guess.
Blast this position.
Bap. Yeah, just 1 man on the Vox, like, not gonna make it home for chow, boys. Here are my coordinates.
We need to finish this target
So
off.
funny. This is so funny. You can always do some interesting things like charge some guardsmen into an enemy battle tank, something that's not very good at combat, and just kind of give it the like, hey, you can shoot out of combat, but like, are you willing to stay here? Or this can just be you consolidated into me or you tagged me on your turn. All right, mortals to you, we're going to hurt you badly. And then, hey, while we're here, I'm going to lose the guys that were in engagement range. And now I'm going to shoot you with a 4-man Khazarkan squad instead of a 10-man Khazarkan squad that was tied up in combat.
Yep.
Something like that. You got options here. I like it. It's very funny.
It's very funny. You're not going to use it all the time, but when it comes up, it's going to be very funny.
Cool. Yeah, but firing hot, fire and reload, like all 6 of these stratagems are good.
Yep.
I think 2 or 3 of them are very much going to be like a threatening your opponent. Maybe don't use it. Like honestly, I kind of expect that the 6-inch deep strike stratagem is just going to be like, hey, just so you know, now your opponent has to jump through all the hoops, and at the end of it, you're going to say, all right, you got me. I'm gonna 9-inch deep strike.
I'm not going to spend the
You got
CPU.
me.
But you went through all this effort.
But you
to
went through
block
all this effort. And that's going to be really, really big. So I think 6-inch deep strike on a big Scion squad is not something you can choose to ignore. Some people, when playing against Aquilons, would just say, hey, the Aquilons go where they want. I'm going to screen out the big squad. And the Aquilons went where they wanted. I don't think that's even in the cards. If you can't screen that out, you are taking it directly on the forehead.
That's a lot of damage.
It is too much for most armies to just accept. I don't think many things at all can just say that that's fine.
Yeah, so this is a really cool detachment. There is 100% a viable infantry-heavy, Tempestus Scion heavy detachment.
Yeah, like not only is this detachment extremely cool, I love that we have a Stormtrooper detachment. I love that it has some small benefits for Khazarkan. They get the reroll 1s to hit, and then they get one of the stratagems a little bit better. It's really a Scion detachment, though, for being honest. Yep. And I think I expect I'm just going to take all the Scions. It's not that
the fact that you can take more, like you can really overload people.
You can take a lot of Scions in this. I am very excited to get this one on the table, honestly.
And Guard has done bodies very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a while.
And I think they're going to continue. So very fun detachment, very flavorful, and I really expect it will also be competitive. Obviously, Guard just received some points increases. Those were, justified. But I still think that there's absolutely gas in the tank for Astra Militarum.
Oh, yeah.
I do not see the army just fading into the background and not existing anymore. I think it is still going to be a pretty good army. And this detachment, I don't want to say that it's head and shoulders better than the combined regiment. It's different.
It's different.
Yeah, you don't just take a combined regiment list and put it in this detachment and say, see, it's better now. At least it's not that. It's not like it's like Hypercrypt or something. But instead, you can very much pursue a different style of build that I would expect to still be quite competitive.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. And you've been running a lot of Scions recently. And
yeah, I took 35 to Worlds.
And they were great. They were essential. Great.
I am probably upping that number to 50 or 60 at like minimum. And as I play it, we will discuss options as I continue to paint. 50 to 60 is I need to go count how many I actually have painted. I don't have more than 60. I have at least 50. I might have 60. Once I find that out, that's how many are going into the list.
100%.
And 3 command squads in every list.
It'll be cool to see the Taurox Prime too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take some Taurox Primes as well. I think I'm going to try to do a mix of both Deep Strike and on the table Scions, which is great because you very rarely saw the Tempestus Prime or the Taurox Prime actually make it into lists. That was not a very common choice. And so I'm really excited that there is now a reason to do so. It lets you get that +1 to wound at different times. Also, frankly, and I know it's not going to come up all the time, but you can get back in a Taurox. Like if you go clear an objective and then you just get back in the Taurox and start driving around, you can go do things.
And you can run a Primaris Psyker that shoots actually pretty hard. Pop out +1 to wounds.
Yeah, if you let's check real quick. Is it Tempestus models or units? Model. So you wouldn't get the +1 to wound on the Primaris
so he
Psyker,
doesn't have that.
But you could still have him hop out of a Taurox Prime, shoot something on an objective, and say, "Hey, I am re-rolling hits, sustained hits, re-rolling wounds, dev wounds." You're still gonna put some.
He's still good.
You're gonna put some paint on.
That would have been cool if you could get him. But yeah, model, good call.
Yeah, model only. They're so inconsistent with that. I have to check every time.
Yeah.
I just think there's great rules here. I'm really excited for this. I already have a first draft of a list kind of cooked up. I probably will be playing it pretty soon in the Worm, and you can go actually find out about that list right now because I'm uploading it to the Worm as part of our list breakdown series. So if you kind of want to check out what I'm cooking, You can catch that in the Worm right now.
Yeah, at theworm.vhx.tv. And right now there's a 50% off your first month with the code Grotmas2024, all caps on that. And we really appreciate if you test it out, because guess what? There's tons of amazing content. We're doing stuff on list videos on every single one of the new detachments, and we're also going to be playing games with the new detachments. So if you want to see them in action, you want to see this guard detachment and the rip-roaring damage that it's going to do to people,
Yes.
Come on over to the Worm, join our community, and get to experience the majesty of only the best.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please make sure that you like this video, share with your friends, leave a comment, tell us what you think about this detachment.
Yep.
And again, subscribe to the channel. That'll get you notified every time we go live. And trust us, we're going live every single day that Games Workshop puts out one of these detachments. Grotmas is not over. There are more detachments still to come. When they come out, we're putting out videos. Subscribe to the channel and you'll get to hang out with us.
Absolutely. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We'll see you all very soon for some more Grotmas content. So long for now.
Bye-bye.